Right now I'm looking at a greater yellowlegs that's sleeping. I'm looking at an oyster catcher. I'm looking at a greater yellowlegs that's feeding, and a bunch of semi-palmated plovers and some peeps. Those are the smallest sandpipers. If a peregrine falcon flew over this area right now, all these birds would get up and fly. They'd either hide in the grass or probably take wing and all flock together and do one of these deals, which would be nice to see. We'll have to work on getting a falcon. There are a lot of places where you can go, especially early in the morning, where there aren't any people and there aren't any machines. So because we wanted to come out early here, we're the first four-wheel drive machine to come out here, other than a couple of people who work for the trustees who are out here on their ATVs. We sort of manage the place, and you have the wherewithal for access. It's yours to enjoy for a few hours. There's a willet, by the way, standing right there. Can you see that? See on the left there on the sand? Mm-hmm. He just kicked up. He's making that noise. The noise that he's making, that complaint, probably means that he's on territory, that he's either got youngsters or a nest. At this time of year, it'd be youngsters. And they're very defensive about their territories, especially against perceived threats like us. And they make that noise until you go away.
Let's stop. Let me see. Let me get.
The closer you get to that bird and the more you walk around in here, the more upset he'll get, and the closer you are to the young, wherever they are, which you probably never see. And he'll harass you until you leave. He'll dive bomb you. He'll come flying right at your face and, swerve at the last minute. And so will these terns down here. These birds that nest in the open have got their strategies, and they do what they have to do to protect their own. This is what you want. You want a variety of things to look at. A lot of these birds have had it with feeding for the time being. They're just crashed out until they've got more open flats to go to. These semi-palmated plovers are gorgeous, they're all gorgeous. This is called a greater yellowlegs. Strictly a migrant. You have a few come through in the spring, and they're common here doing just what that one's doing, going along, walking in the water because they have long legs. And they find all sorts of things to eat, including scaring up little minnows. But because of predation, basically coyotes, skunks, harriers, crows, black-backed gulls, great black-backed gulls, anything big enough to eat the young are attracted to these colonies where there's first eggs. They're the adults sitting on the eggs. Then they're young birds, chicks. And as the chicks get bigger, the payoff is bigger if they can catch them. Once the chicks have fledged, meaning that they know how to fly, it's a different story. Although something like a skunk or a black-crowned night heron that comes out at night can walk through the colonies in the dark and pick them off, and all of that happens. So these guys need to have a safe environment in which to nest. Now these guys just took off. What's that about? There are a lot of birds in the sky. It's a great, oh look, there's a hawk right here, that's why. See this harrier moving down the beach? Yeah, that's what it's all about. Now this is a slow moving hawk, but he's really good at catching chicks. This looks through the lens here, looks to be a female adult. Anyway, out here we have hundreds. I don't know the recent numbers, but there may have been 1,200 nesting least terns here. It makes it the biggest nesting colony in the state of Massachusetts. That population of nesting least terns attracted common terns, which haven't nested here, and roseate terns, which typically nest in Buzzards Bay. There's also a pair of black skimmers out here with an egg that they're sitting on. So you have a fantastic and unusual concentration of terns or tern-type birds that are using this one spit of land, which is only a couple years old itself, as the place that they're counting on for perpetuating the species.